Hi folks, today is Sunday the 22nd of September and I was going to post another one of the colour videos today because I filmed a bunch of them, but that didn't quite work out, mostly because I've been having more trouble with my hands this week and I don't really want to edit a video, so I thought instead I would do a short overview of what I'm planning to do for Inktober because I now have a plan. And that plan includes sharing what I'm doing Inktober-wise each day on YouTube, which may be a touch ambitious, but we will see. Let's move down here so you can see Lyra. Good morning, Lyra. Hello. Yes. Hi. I mentioned in my last vlog that I'm doing a Greek mythology theme because my Greek-inspired designs that I've done in the past have done very well on Instagram and they've sold very well, so it seems like a good thing that resonates with you guys. I just want to talk about the reasons for doing Inktober because I think there are many different reasons for doing it. That's something you need to establish at the beginning. So I don't know if any of you are planning on doing it. If you are, let me know down in the comments. I am going to put out a prompt list in the next week. That is my plan. So if you wanted to follow along with that, you can. There are different reasons for doing Inktober. The first one being to improve, and that is why Jake Parker invented Inktober in the beginning. It was because he wanted to improve his line art and his inking. And for many people, that is still the reason why they do Inktober. That's why I did it the first time. My goals have been a little bit different. In the past 2 years that I've done it, I've wanted to have some kind of product at the end. When I did it 2 years ago, it was bookplate designs for various characters, and I wanted to increase engagement for one thing, which it certainly did, and the other thing was, yeah, I wanted to have some kind of collection of designs at the end. And last year I was even more strategic with it. I decided to do bookmarks, and that was so that I could create bookmarks to sell because I know you guys like bookmarks. Oh, you right, Lyra? It's a bit of a cough. Yeah, you okay? Yeah, all right. Yeah. So this year I want to turn the designs into notebooks, at least the most successful designs. So, yeah, so that's another reason to do it, would be to have some kind of product at the end, whether you want to turn it into a book. Lyra, get off. Yeah, whether you want to turn it, oh my god, I've got lipstick all over my face, well done. Yeah, so either you want to turn it into some kind of book, or you want to be able to turn individual pieces into products. That is a very worthwhile thing to do as well. And, oh, goodness me. The other thing you might want to do is increase your following online by being a part of the hashtag, because people do follow the hashtag and get discovered through doing it. And I've definitely found that to be true in the past as well. There's a tail. Look, there's a tail. So yeah, those are some of the reasons for doing it. You might have other reasons as well. It might, yeah, just be purely a practice thing or a reason to get feedback from people. Lots of things. For me, and this is where I think I'm going wrong already, I've sort of decided to combine those three things that I mentioned. Improving my artwork. In this case, it's not necessarily the line work and inking so much as drawing people. And the second thing is to have a product at the end and also to increase following. My advice would be to pick one thing and to go with that, because then you're not putting the same kind of pressure on yourself, which I'm doing at the moment, and I'm already feeling a little bit burnt out from it, and I've been planning like mad for the past couple of weeks for Inktober, which is again not in the sort of original spirit of Inktober, which is sort of practicing and I guess doing a drawing from scratch each day, which is not what I'm doing. But because I'm clear on what my goals are, I'm able to sort of engineer the whole thing around that. So yes, that is the first thing, is establishing your goals for it and creating a project for Inktober that works with those goals. So if you wanted to simply increase your following, you might do fan art pieces for a fandom that is related to your audience. I have done that in the past. I'm not doing that this year because I want to be able to sell these pieces and I'm not selling fan art. And Greek mythology is outside of copyright. Oh, the other thing I should mention is reference images, which I think is something that's worth looking at beforehand, and finding things to use as reference. That's what I've done. Again, depending on your goals, it might be that you want to create an image from scratch or you want to practice drawing from imagination, in which case you might not use reference as much. I have chosen my reference images from copyright-free sources. So looking at pre-Raphaelite paintings, because they are very in line with the kind of design work and illustration work I do, as well as Victorian and sort of vintage photographs by Julia Margaret Cameron in particular, those ones I was looking for. And she was very similar to the pre-Raphaelites and influenced by the pre-Raphaelites, but worked in photography rather than painting. What I've been doing in the past few weeks, based on those goals, is creating basically the line work, the plan, the sketch, the core of each piece that I can then colour in ink. I'll be using Copic markers, liquid ink, and pens, fine liner pens. Because I am short on time, I've had to rely quite heavily on reference from these, to the point where at some points I am tracing things, which is a very contentious issue in the online art community, which is a little bit ridiculous, because if you know anything about the history of art, you know that the great masters used to use a thing called a camera obscura, which would basically project what they were looking at onto a flat piece of paper that they could then trace. So it's a sort of low-tech version of what you do on an iPad. But yes, this seems to be a very contentious issue, and that I could go into a whole different video on that. I'm just going to put a light outside. But yeah, that's a bit strange to me because I studied art history, so I'm quite aware of that whole process, I guess. Yeah, you look at the likes of Leonardo da Vinci, and they did that, but also they were very good at drawing from reference as well. And I think that's the thing. You can use tracing as a tool to speed up your work, especially if you're doing commercial work. And you know, I can draw people, but it takes a bit longer. Some of the drawings I've done have been purely from imagination, which takes a lot longer, and some are sort of compilations of different ones, and some are more directly taken from these paintings and photographs. However, I think the main thing to consider if you're going to trace something is what the source is and what copyright it has, if any. So that's the main reason I've chosen these references that are completely outside of copyright. I basically looked up copyright law, and usually it is 50 years after an artist or author has died, their work becomes public domain, in which case anybody can use it. And that allows art to kind of progress. Anyway, that's a whole topic on its own. But I thought with this whole Inktober thing, I want to be as transparent as possible, because I know that some people get really cross about even using reference, which is bonkers. Reference is fine, you can use reference. Just be careful about how much you're using, basically. And that goes for many things. But there's a lot of a kind of shaming culture out there about people tracing and using reference, which is strange for one thing, and also I think it can put people off drawing more generally, which is really sad. So in order to not be publicly ashamed, I thought I would let you know this is what I'm doing. So yes, I am absolutely stealing things from Rossetti and the Pre-Raphaelites and Burne-Jones and all of those folks, but that's actually okay. And actually I found this really helpful in developing my own style and practicing drawing as well. You can actually learn quite a lot from tracing and copying the great masters and all that. I'm not the world's best drawer by any means, but yeah, I can draw pretty well, and this is helping me. So that goes back to one of those goals of, you know, why do Inktober, and one of them for me is to improve my drawing of people and getting a little bit more understanding of anatomy as well, which is fairly rudimentary at this point. And that's something I'd like to learn more about. This process over the past few weeks has been doing that, basically. And the interesting thing about doing this line work as well is that, generally speaking, when I am drawing, the line work, the sketching, the line work, all of that is my, I guess, least favorite, or I don't enjoy it as much. When it's going well, it's great kind of thing, but it can be quite challenging because you're looking at all the technical sides of things, the composition and all of that. And then I find you can get into more of a flow state once you get to the drawing and inking and the rendering side of things. And that's going to be different for everyone, but that's the side of things that I really enjoy. So it's been a bit strange doing all this work up front with none of the, it's sort of extreme delayed gratification. You're doing all the hard work up front, and then Inktober itself I should be able to just enjoy. That is the plan, at least. And I'm going to take you along on this journey. So we circle back to me recording each piece, and that's going to be hopefully a video every day. I don't know if I will get each video up onto YouTube the day that I do it, but I'm hoping I might be a couple of days behind. But I'm basically just going to have a camera, which at the moment is going to be my phone, which I'm recording on now. Sorry about the quality. But yeah, my normal camera is in Alaska. Yeah, basically I will just record what I'm doing and I'll speed it up, and I might do a voiceover to sort of talk you through what I'm doing or talk about any particular issues. If you have any questions that you'd like me to cover, let me know. Trying to keep it as easy as possible because I've been quite ambitious with the actual drawing side of things. I want really beautiful finished pieces that I can then turn into products, basically. Which may be a little bit stupid, but we will see. We will see if I can remember how to draw and ink non-digitally, traditionally, all of that. Anyway, if you got this far in the video, well done. I know it was a very kind of ad-libbed, chatty, a bit all over the place kind of video. But yeah, like I said, I just do not have the energy to properly edit one of these colour videos right now because they're quite hard work. Yeah, thanks for watching, and tune in October for Inktober. It's gonna be a ride regardless, probably a wild ride, and you're gonna see my mistakes as well as my triumphs. So yeah, I mean, if you want to see me fail at something, then stick around. All right, thank you so much for watching. I'll see you in the next one. Bye.